Hello and welcome to the AIM webinar series. Today's session is doubling the RFID advantage for retail, logistics, and healthcare applications with dual frequency solutions. First, a little bit about AIM. AIM is the Industry Association for Automatic Identification and Data Capture Technologies. We serve as a hub for quality resources covering all types of barcode, RFID, and mobile computing information. We also foster new auto ID innovations that stimulate growth. We encourage you to get involved. If you would like additional information, reach out to us at info@aimglobal.org. And then our antitrust policy, it is the policy of AIM to conduct its operations in strict compliance with the antitrust laws. No AIM activity shall create even the appearance of a violation of the letter or spirit of the antitrust laws. And a few other housekeeping notes. All registrants are muted upon entering the webinar, but we still want you to participate. To send a question, select the Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. We'll get to as many questions as possible at the end of the presentation. Also, a recording of the webinar will be available in the coming days to those that have registered. And then I want to go over our agenda for today. So we're going to meet our speakers, and then we're going to introduce Identiv and Axia and the value of our partnership, and then introducing ID Brain. And then we have a demo presentation today, and then we will discuss the market feedback and responses, and then we will go into the Q&A. So with that, we'll introduce our speakers. We have Dr. Swami Subramanian, the Director of Business Development for the Axia Institute of Michigan State University, and Stefan Genzer, the Director Sales RFID Transponder Solutions, EMEA for Identiv. And with that, I'll hand it over to you, Stefan.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Bethany, and good morning, all. It's a pleasure to meet you all. This platform, it helps to connect the industry and academic researchers like mine. It's that's what we need in the today. And Bethany, can you please go to the next slide? And thanks to the AIM and Identiv to really bringing that, and my role in that Axia, connecting with the industry and bringing the problems and solving it. So with that, I'll pass it to Stefan.
Thank you, Swami. Yeah, also hello from my side. My name is Stefan. I'm from Identiv. And yeah, with this slide, we will start with a short introduction of Identiv. So for those who haven't heard about our company, we are a global IoT transponder manufacturing company. We are focusing on solutions and providing secure connected devices and systems in general. So this is more or less what on the street we are calling smart labels and inlays. So any kind of sticker which has an additional function inside. So we are a public company headquartered in the US. Our R&D headquarters is in Germany, in Europe, and we do have our mass production sites in Southeast Asia. For to get a little bit into our portfolio, especially when it comes to high quality specialty solutions that require custom designs and flexibility of any kind of way. That's where Identiv is very strong at. We are a proven partner and reliable partner in this area in the whole industry. And we are also very proud that if there are new ideas, new products coming up, we are very quick, very fast in providing first custom-made or handmade prototypes to any kind of applications. Our portfolio is quite wide. So as stated before, we are flexible and very open and independent from any suppliers. So we offer tags, transponders, inlays, in the frequency range from LF, high frequency, NFC, UHF, long range, also Bluetooth Low Energy, meanwhile, as a label. So we have a wide portfolio here, and as stated in the on the head of this slide, we provide technology with a mission. So this means that we want to contribute with our work to the advancement of society, and especially important industries like the healthcare and pharma industry. We rely also there on partnerships like with Axia. So I will simply hand over to you, Swami, and you can introduce Axia a little bit and why our cooperation also with you is really great and beneficial for all.
Great. Thank you all. So Stefan came with an Identiv tag. You can see I'm coming with an green, so go green, as a Michigan State University. Now, Axia is a value chain innovation center. we are little unconventional way handle the problems from academic thing. We try to bring the industries to the platform and understand their challenges and work with the solution providers like Identiv and what is the best one, and we run the pilot demo. And today you are going to see a couple of things as a partnership with Identiv and Axia, the outcome. And right now we are focusing on three major industries: healthcare, pharma, food and agriculture, and advanced manufacturing or high value electronics. These are the areas. As Michigan State University, it comes with I would say like the crown in that is majorly a #1 supply chain school in the US. Then it's the well-renowned School of Packaging, then College of Engineering, and also ACAP Center, anti-counterfeiting, as well as a product production. So these are the four metrics and the more best thing. And Axia sits in the middle, connect all the dots. How can we add a value from end to end? In the bottom graphic shows from a supplier to the end user. In the case of pharma, active pharma ingredients are supplier, manufacturers, the drug manufacturer, the distributors, and a solution provider like IoT and everything. Then also the end users, hospitals and patients. And we want to bring the knowledge nexus, connect them, understand their problem, and a platform. We go on as a sandbox to trial few pilots and a demo before we launch it, giving more confidence to the user and the stakeholders. So that is the purpose of Axia. And once again, thank you for the team to really making this happen. This is the one needed to really educate us and share what is happening. With that, yeah, the next slide, please, Bethany. And that's going to be a little bit fun as tracking a $5 t-shirt. We all know when we go to the famous retail stores in US, we all see the $5 t-shirts come with an RFID. That's really, yeah, it improves the inventory 99%, and it reduces the stock shortages 15 to 30%. And it enables even the futuristic method of like self-checkouts, frictionless. These are all known statistics. And the reason I'm sharing, this is how we started. Now, once we know the technology and what is the efficiency, how does it really work, it's a time to move into the next area where these technologies are important, and it's essential to really add a quality to the human life here. Certainly, that's the one we wanted today's show, and certainly Identiv, Axia, the combo. We are trying to come up with a solution, and it's like I would say the first step. The solutions are really, we are going to build a futuristic thing, so many other elements, but today it will be a one just first stop and show how this work. With that as a, so next slide, please, Stephanie. Bethany. And we want to come up with a complete and a healthcare perspective, because this is still now that's not much technology, or still everything is being in early stages. And Axia sees the three major areas where really we need to, from an academic researcher and even from an end user, the places where really we need to focus, it's a prevent shortages. That's the #1, particularly after COVID. If anything happens in a disaster, either Suez Canal, let's be in like a block, some of the problem, or maybe a COVID, or maybe a workforce problem across the globe. If anything happens, that this is the drug is not something in a auxiliary thing, it's a life-saving medicine. How can we prevent the shortages? Either the API, active pharma ingredients, are not coming, or maybe within the country, if the logistics not working, and the traceability. So the prevents the shortage is an important and the key element of the topic. Then ensures the drug authenticity. Mainly it's a fake product. In other industries, the fake products are just it's a pain and a issue, but whereas in a healthcare, the fake product, so usually counterfeited product, or sometimes it happens in a drug industry, product diversion. This is not just a pain, it's a life.
And how can we make sure that the end user this is an authentic drug and they are getting the right one as when they need it. So that is an important giving a traceability and accountability to really giving more confidence to the patient. And the last element, patient engagement and a safety. Nowadays, we all been sophisticated with the 5 inches cell phone screen as a very, very connected, but how much we are connected with the drug? If you get the drug on hand, do you know this is authentic? Do you know everything in a digitally you want to search? It's a big question. It is not yet there, at least in the US. Some rest of the world, the parts are happening. How can we bring, because this is leading to a couple of statistics I'm giving here, almost at 25 plus billion annually. It's going to really lose, or the loss is due to inefficient supply chain from a hospital perspective. And I have marked those where I took from the information. And similarly, drug diversion and counterfeiting. It's beyond the $400 billion as a monetary loss. It's a risk to the patient safety. As a companies, as a CSR, the corporate social responsibility, how can we bring the good thing to the end user, the patients, the life? So that's all the topic of the day. With that, I'll pass into the next slide. I believe that's it's going to be Stefan's time.
Yes. So thank you, Swami. I especially liked your view on having the full visibility on the whole supply chain until the patient, so from end to end. And having this topic, we also want to use today to proudly introduce the market to a new product from Identiv, which is the product series called ID Brain family. So here we have dual frequency tags. Different dual frequency tags means tags with one chip which can be accessed with UHF and NFC frequency. So obviously the advantages are quite clear, and the whole technology, as most of you will know, is not really new, but it's really good to know, and that's what we want to emphasize, that we're getting increased performances and new features every year thanks to chip manufacturers like EM Microelectronics. So we also use their EM4425 chips on our new product. Our new products of ID Brain, so 3 different sizes come with a chip series of the latest generation, which make it possible to have, for those who are coming from logistics or manufacturing side already working with UHF technology, we bring the possibility now to add this NFC interface and to make it possible in any place of the lifetime of a product to check also data which normally only stored via UHF. So we have these multiple designs in different sizes for different applications. And we now, and this is very new, we also support AES 128 crypto for web-based authentication. We just heard from Swami that this is the more or less the last step which is missing in the whole supply chain, and offers additional value to any one of us. So you can do this either on a web-based in a web-based way with your smartphone, or you can even go one step further and have this as an app-based bidirectional authentication between a tag and a reader infrastructure. So depending on how secure you want to have it, this is now also possible with the NFC interface. So yeah, we have, as it stated here, seamless integration, so and omnichannel experience. So the use cases from the UHF side and the NFC side, they are all still there. They're all working with this tag. So it's only a one single product which you need in future in order to make use of all these use cases. Yeah, let's move on to the next slide where we have the benefits. So the main benefit, as I already told, is the shared memory. So it doesn't matter with which technology you are accessing the tag, you're always getting the memory inside. So we can more or less distinguish now between use cases before the point of sale and after the point of sale. So before the point of sale, a lot of manufacturing, logistics, warehousing, distribution, this requires all automatic identification of items passing by. It is a very established technology using UHF there to automatically track, locate, and differentiate products on their way in an automatic way. So ideal situation. But once the tag is moving to a different or to the end user, more or less, in healthcare, for example, it would be the patient, then of course this whole information which was stored on the tag, which of the UHF tag will get lost, and you only are there with the NFC tag. But this NFC tag or NFC interface from the ID Brain tag can now be used for authentication checks, for engagement activities with between the patient, for example, and the manufacturer, or many other different possibilities which there are. Just imagine that you can get, as a patient, by tapping such a tag, you can get certain information which was stored during manufacturing process, during the time it was stored in a distribution center, for example. So there is the possibility to grant access via the NFC interface to data which was previously not accessible for anyone, especially not with a smartphone. Of course, we are working on a very high secure level here, so there is the possibility to have restrictions which data is available and which should not be available. But just imagine, throughout the lifetime of a product, there is no need anymore to do any relabeling or something. So this is an additional source of risk which you need to take care of. If a label needs to be replaced by an NFC label, for example, a UHF label needs to be replaced by an NFC label, and that the data, or that there is no data falling behind because of this relabeling process. So the benefits are quite sure. You are this one tag or one label, you are ensuring all the use cases work which have been previously done on the UHF side, means the whole track and trace side, the whole diversion side, so the whole gray market control, anything. But also after the point of sale, when the product is in the hand of an end user, of a patient, then you're enabling with this new chip from EM Microelectronics the possibility to do a product authentication, a web-based one, so anyone can access it even without an app, for example. You can share additional data, you can engage with the patient, with the end customer via this label. So there is really just one label needed anymore for all these applications. And on the next slide, Bethany, we summarize a little bit the problems that can be solved here. So, I mean, most of them we already touched a little bit, like this whole track and trace during logistics, of course, inventory tracking, loss prevention, or things like replenishment in retail, for example. These are all established use cases for UHF, and combining it now with the engagement possibility, with the anti-counterfeiting check possibility. These are all advantages with which we can solve these problems which we have throughout the lifetime of a product. So going a little bit back now to the healthcare industry, so especially when we work in sensitive industries like this, like also in pharma, we have this relabeling issue quite often. This can lead to catastrophe. We have quite often this problem of fake products where we need the authentication possibility, otherwise it leads to a catastrophe. So yeah, I will simply hand over to you, Swami, to give us more insights about the potential of this dual frequency tags when they're used on a packaging, for example.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Stefan. Yeah, you covered. Yeah, this is not the one industry. It is applicable to all the adjacent industries. It all comes under the topic of smart packaging. Because the smart packaging means, always I tell my friends or my students when I speak, there's a TikTok video. If it's something a famous singer TikTok video, you can go ahead and dub it like your video, somebody's voice. And this is what really today is barcode or QR code. If somebody can take yours and they can use it their product. But whereas the technology is what we are right now talking, the smart packaging, it's enabling a digital voice. That's really adding a value. That's mainly all that anti-counterfeiting as well as brand protection, everything. So that's a key thing from a smart packaging. There is a majorly three areas from a government perspective. The regulators, and the agencies. How can they minimize the counterfeit risk? And also ensuring the compliance, the standards. If it's it has to have some information. For example, if it's a medical device, if it's if the plastic involved, they have to let the patients know, or lead involved. So these are the things as a digitally giving more information and having those connections. Then from an industry perspective, of course, we all know from a retail industry and other industries, it's optimization and automation there, your inventory management, whether it's not only a drug manufacturer, your distributor, anyone in the warehouse and the end user. And also it's protecting the brand. And at the last point is the end user, it's giving a more authentic, yeah, this is the original product, this is the original video, it's not the TikTok video. And giving them kind of the consumer how to use the product. It's, we call it the experience. It's not the engagement on an experience to make it more useful and meaningful. So that's kind of a compliance, safety, automation, and a data. If all connected together, it's giving information to really make the decisions and all the necessary steps. So this is really a smart packaging where really we need, these are the technologies, so RFID, whether UHF or as NFC. So we need those information and completely put in a package. Next slide, please, Bethany. It coming to the healthcare more specifically, I would say it from a connected health, because it goes with the automation, visibility, product integrity, and the connected health is the next step. It's giving the patients or caregivers or even a healthcare providers, whether they are taking a medication at the promptly, at the timingly. So these are the tracking information and giving more value added service, and because it automatically covers the product integrity and also giving a visibility if specialty medications being shipped from a manufacturer. So it's kind of a giving visibility, whether it reaches to the point, mainly if it's the controlled substances, if it's who are all been using it, how it's really, those are the information. It's a smart packaging adding value in the healthcare industry. Axia is, that's what we are mainly focusing on it. We are bringing hospitals and then a distributor, drug manufacturers, and solution providers like Identiv to really solve the value chain challenge. It's not the one point, the solution helps across the value chain. And the next slide, please. And this is the Axia's overall view. And you can see there is a majorly a 3 plus the fourth one. The dimensions, a supply chain traceability, means we all know that digital technologies always work, help us now where it is, and even that some of the things we never know if it's going in a wrong place, or maybe where is your leak path. If it's something, a product diversion happening, so probably your supply chain is the place. It's a time you can understand where you can put your efforts to minimize the risk. Then it's completely the brand protection too. Then patient engagement, it's the CX and the caregivers giving more enough information. All these leads to a digital transformation. So we are in 2025. How can we bring these technologies to solve the challenges? With that, now it's a time. Our friend Stefan is going to show us the demo, I believe.
Exactly. So what Axia and Identiv did in the past was we created a small pill bottle which has one of the ID brain tags integrated. So you see it's just hidden behind the label on the pill bottle, and if you just simply use your smartphone, switching it on and then tapping the tag, you get automatically a link which I now open, and I will share it now with you what we can see there. I will just join the meeting with my smartphone. And there you go. It never works when you try it for the first time. So maybe Swami, you can give meanwhile a short summary of what we can see on
Yeah,
this.
sure. And thanks, Stefan. I think that's a good.
Mhm,
So I can fill the gap when you try. And
mhm.
Axia, Identiv, and a manufacturer, we all trying to come up with a solution. And like I say, it's a very beginning. It's a first step. How can we give the drug information very handy? Because it's a right now we all get the paper drug information. It's we call it like a leaflets, a pamphlets, but it's so difficult to search the information. So Axia has developed the first step as a digital drug information. It's just using a tag, and right now you see when you tape that and you will get all the things. In US, we call it a NDC, National Drug Code. It's kind of identifying every drug with the number. With that, we will be able to pull the details from FDA. You can see the daily med thing, and that's what really Axia's first step. But this is not the final. We are going to add a value, whether it's a it's authentic drug or maybe the other information, and an intelligent bot system across with any different language. If the user can interact, whether it's Spanish or Polish or German or Arabic, so the user will get enough information. That's the next step. And also, this is how can we help the connected health experience to the patient. So with that, right now we are seeing the screen. When Stefan touched that as a cell phone on the pill bottle, it's giving all the information. This is we are calling IRX, information of the RX. Again, it's the first step, and people may go, yeah, this is possible, this is doable with the QR code. Why we need a RFID? And that's the reason I said a TikTok video. If it's something in a fake product, how can we make sure the digital wise, the RFID or NFC, that's adding a value from originality, the authenticate, and so authenticity. That's kind of our information. So I'll let the Stefan to explain the rest. But that's really, this is one I thank Identiv's team, Nicole, Christy, Stefan, to really bring this to a possible. Then Axia's team, John Hatfield, our director, our digital lead, Greg. That's kind of a we are bringing, and right now we are involving the NLP, the MSU University, the engineering excellence, to make it as a further thing. Adverse drug reactions and expiry date. What are things? How can we give a one-stop great experience to the end user? So sorry, Stefan, I'm taking a little bit hijacking your, but please go ahead.
That's okay. I think we now can go back to the slide.
And the viewers, if you have any suggestions, again, please join Axia, this consortium, along with Identiv. It's a time we want the people coming forward and say adding more value. And so there may be the other places where we can use. Yeah, please go ahead, Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Swami. So from Identiv side, just one last remark on this pill bottle demo. Of course, from and manufacturer side of transponders, it's always important to have the knowledge on the back side how to convert a label so it fits to the product where it needs to be attached to. So for a pill bottle, it's a little bit easier. There are other drug containers which require a little bit of more complex or more experience to design them properly to work, especially when it comes also to more fragile products, products of different materials like glass or like metal. So that's something where Identiv can always support. And yeah, the rest was already said by Swami about the app. So that's all I wanted to continue to add here. Then let's move on to your next slide, Swami.
Yeah, great. And now it's almost we are at the end. And from our existing retailer logistics, we all know that again, it's a no-brainer. It's a 65% of the retailers they are plan to adapt the RFID by 2025. Then similarly, RFID reduce the out of stock things, and we all know. Then what is going to happen in a healthcare? That's a bigger picture as we want to really start here. And that's really the true quality of life is not about the faster checkouts or maybe a fancy thing. It's all about like a healthcare bringing the meaningful and informed decisions. Certainly, RFID in the healthcare industry is not a luxury. It's a necessity. And we as an Axia, we would like to work with the solution provider and the drug manufacturers and healthcare providers to provide a meaningful and address the real world challenges. With that as a thanks. And it's a time, Stefan, maybe your closing thoughts.
Yeah. So next slide, Bethany. Yeah, this was more or less the presentation which we had for you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat here or send them to AIM or to us directly. So there are already a couple of questions, I guess, what I saw. And beside that, yeah, if you have any interest or any ideas around RFID, NFC, the combination of it, or any wireless technology that you consider interesting for your product, for your items, for your systems, feel free to reach out to us. I mean, Identiv on the transponder side, we are super experienced in bringing the tag onto any kind of product. From Swami's side, from Axia side, they have a lot of experience, a lot of scientific knowledge on the background, how to calculate the real value behind it. So yeah, I think, Bethany, we can move to the questions.
All right, so let's get started into the questions we have here. One of the first questions we have is, since this is giving access to the memory via smartphone, will anyone be able to access all the data generated during production and distribution? And I think that one is for you, Stefan.
Yeah, I think this addresses because the tag can be used throughout the beginning of a product's lifetime until the end. So yeah, even though if you can access the memory by smartphone, it does not automatically mean that all the information which was gathered during manufacturing, logistics, distribution of any other party is automatically stored on the tag. Most of the time, it's just a reference to any database, which is then managing who or which user, which reading party is allowed to access which data. So from data protection side, there are no issues because everything can be modified and installed like you need it. Yeah.
Okay, and then the next question we have here is, this IRX, is this only for drugs? I think that
Great.
would be for you, Swami.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bethany. It's yeah, certainly IRX is not only for the drug. It could be extendable for medical devices, as mainly for a pharma. But even Axia is thinking beyond. Today the name is IRX. Technically, this could be across the different industries, where really connecting the patients or connecting the end users with the different. It could be a high power, like a high value electronics, or anything. So it's not just limited to drug. And but at this moment, IRX, we are building more brilliancy, and it could be extendable immediately. It could be expanded to medical device and other anything related. But we are thinking in a multiple use cases. Yep. Thanks.
And then we have another question about IRX. What's the next step?
Yeah, the next step, as we are working with the manufacturers, and certainly we are going to launch it this April, and that's our members only invited meeting, and we are going to give it to the world for the end user. We are working for a patient-centric platform. This is aimed for the patients, caregiver, and healthcare providers, and we are going to add a AI NLP thing to make sure that users are having a more presentable experience. And also, how can we add other values? Today what we showed is only a drug information, but beyond that, ADR, adverse drug reactions, expiry date, and everything, and any language. So that's we are going with a vision. As Stefan said, Identiv, Axia, we are very much welcoming the rest of the members to join the party and help us. And always I say, learn together, grow together, making a successful society.
All right, and then the next question we have here, it's kind of three questions in one. Where can I find the data sheets for your new products? What is your smallest tag, and how small can you go?
Okay, since this is about the tags, the data sheet and all the information will be available by today on our website identiv.com in our product advisor category. So if you're looking for the data sheets, you can find them. Regarding the size, yeah, we started with 3 sizes, and the smallest one, yeah, it will depend on what you're looking for. So if you're fine with a very slim long tag, then there would be it's approximately 10 by 75 millimeters in size, so it's very thin but very long. If you're looking for a shape like a square or a rectangular, there is also a 15 times 34 millimeters tag which we have. And if you want to go even smaller, you always need to take into consideration that the reading distance will suffer from the size. So of course, we can design it customly. We can also add additional features here, but it will always, we should always review a little bit the use case, the actual one you're working in, if it makes sense and how much reading distance is needed and how small you can get in size.
Okay, and then our last question here, is it possible to add the NFC part to an existing UHF tag?
So not to an existing tag in terms of that you modify the tag, but you can replace, of course, the tag by a dual frequency tag. In terms of size, we can design it in a way that both the NFC antenna and the UHF antenna in total need the same size as the existing UHF tag. So it will not be like an add-on, but it's like a new label which can replace the existing one and has the same features then in the end.
All right, thank you everyone for your questions, and we'll move on.
Okay, so what's next? That's what I mentioned before already. So feel free to reach out to Swami or myself. We are happy to support you with our experiences from the market, with our scientific knowledge from Axia side. So if there are samples that are interested to you, we are happy to provide these, send these to you so you can have first hands on our new ID Brain products. If there is further discussion ongoing when you would like to customize them, we are always supporting here. We can support on the encoding side, on the system support side, and of course with the network and our partners just like Axia. Swami, some last words from you?
Sure, and I have no words to thank. That's a Identiv team. This is something as a not only Identiv as a certainly AIM, helping us to reach the users and this particular platform. This is what we want, and we would like to make this effort some more. It's a win-win-win. I always call it 3 wins. The win from the end users, then a win from the manufacturers, then win from the government agencies. That certainly, these technologies are great for the regulatory agencies. How can we can track it and we can make sure the patients are the right drug to the right patient and give more authenticity and make sure that our lives are getting more quality and quality. With that as my email here, yeswami@msu.edu. Of course, our partner, Identiv, you can reach one of us and we will always available to support and help the industry to solve the challenges. Great. Thank you again.
All right, and if you would like to reach out to AIM, we have our contact information on the screen. You can email us at info@aimglobal.org or visit our website. And thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to Swami and Stefan for presenting, and have a
Great.
good day.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all.